My name is Ida Auken. I am member of the Danish Parliament for the Social Democrats, and I've been a member for 14 years, and I've been the Minister for the Environment in Denmark. My engagement with climate change started when I was very young. I think I was 20 maybe, and I understood what was going on, and I had kind of not realized before. So it was for me a real shock when I understood that we were living our lives like nothing had happened. And on the other hand, we had science telling us that we were jeopardizing our survival, stability, the planet, nature, everything that I find beautiful and wonderful. So I actually started out getting very depressed in the age of 20. And I decided to, I can't just lay down and cry about things. I have to do something. And that's when I got engaged in politics. So now I have been working for climate in almost 20 years. And it's every day I get up in the morning, I think about what to do to improve things step by step, big ideas and small steps all the time. That's how I work with it. When I look at Denmark and the way climate has changed as an agenda, a political agenda, it started out as something people did not talk much about. When I started being interested in climate more than 20 years ago, it was not that big a thing. And it was like we hadn't really felt what was going on. We hadn't really understood the sheer amount of this problem. And so I think it's changed, especially maybe the last 3 or 4 years. It's become a really big agenda, and it's become something that everybody in this country find extremely important. It's on the top list of most people's minds, and that makes me really happy, because politics also in a democracy is actually very dependent on the people wanting things to happen and supporting us who try to lead this change. So I think it's been some years where we changed some things over the years. We changed our whole energy system. So now we have 100% of our electricity. It's going to come from wind and other renewable sources in a few years from now. But we are still far behind when it comes to traffic. It's been going very slow. And it's also because it's an area where we are dependent on electrical vehicles. We're depending on technology helping us getting rid of diesel and gasoline cars. We also have an agriculture that is very tied up with animal production. And of course we can make that much more efficient. That's what we're trying to do, and also help other countries produce much more efficiently. But we also have to transition to a more plant-based agricultural system. It's better for your health, it's better for nature, and it's much better for the climate. When I look at awareness on climate change in different age groups, I think the youth, the young people have been very, very important in driving this agenda. I was young when I got first involved, and I really believed that we can change everything. And I think that mentality is so important. It's coming out of the youth, and they're like pushing us all the time, which I really find very, very important. They're changing their parents over breakfast, over dinner. They're telling their parents to take climate serious, to eat differently, travel differently. But now I also see how middle-aged people and older people are getting involved in climate change. So it's not only young people, now it's really becoming a broader item for all of our population. And I think that is very important, so that we do not lose half of the population making this transition. Because we are going to make big changes, and if we don't get people along, our societies will break apart. And we will be in the same problems socially as we will be if we don't fix climate. So we have to think about both things, people and planet. In Denmark, we have a law, a climate law, setting the framework for all other political areas. And it's telling us to get our CO2 emissions down by 70% in just 2030. That's just 9 years from now. So it's setting the framework for changing agriculture, industry, transportation, production. And this law was made 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, and I was an important part of those negotiations, making sure how we draw the framework, how we make sure that we have an independent institution like the Climate Council measuring all the time, giving us the credibility of the work we are doing and pushing us. And it's also was a law that we actually got most of the parties behind, and I think that's very important for stability, that it's not just one side of the political area that's supporting this law, but it's actually a broad support so that it will stay, even though we might change political leadership at some point, even though I hope we won't.